Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller. As I was setting up the entire studio today, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I hope today's video goes much, much better than this previous episode on Monday. It was so crazy. I was trying to record beforehand because we went to my parents in Northeast Iowa for the weekend. And let me tell you, this was exactly what I needed. I prepared very heavily before this event. So I knew we'd be traveling on Friday, and I wanted to make sure that our entire house was picked up, that I wasn't going to be stressed when I got home. And this was the first time that I've ever traveled anywhere where I felt like everything was under control. I felt like my projects were handled, my podcast was recorded, my house was clean, my dogs were taken care of. It was all of the things. And we have had so many failures in the past, we being myself. I've tried multiple times to make sure that I'm taking care of my future self. I'm ensuring that she's not going to be stressed out. She's going to be able to handle it. And so many times before, I have tried to stack everything on my to-do list because in my head, everything was important. I had to do it. It was, very imperative. I needed to do it all. And in return, I was doing too much. I wasn't handling the task well. And this could be social or work or school or any of the things where I was balancing so much and I was not doing well, right? We've all had that where we're trying so hard to hold on to so many different things and give a front we can handle it and it's fine. Or maybe we do have these interests in the multitude of things, and that's fine too. But it comes to a point where your diverted focus will not lead to the results that you're looking for, because when your focus is scattered, you're not actually spending the time and the commitment to what actually is going to move the needle forward or be in return a good investment. Time, energy, money, all of the things. And so I was really taking a look on how I spent my August, because we're in September now, right? There's only 4 months until the new year. And I know some people don't like thinking of time passing in this way, and it's completely understandable. I get it. But I was just looking and seeing how I did with my August goals. And a couple of them I failed miserably. And instead of thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't do well on this goal, I was actually thinking, okay, I didn't make this goal a priority this past month. Why? Where was the breakdown? Was it my routine? What was something else more important to where I wasn't doing that thing? And come to find out, what was most important to me and actually was going to lead to what I'm working on, what I'm focused on. That's what I did. The things that sound cool in theory, or I wanted to do, or maybe I just threw it on there as a goal, oh yeah, I'm going to work on this too. I realized that those weren't the most important things. And so just taking a snapshot at, okay, August, what were my results? Where did I find success? Where did I not find success? How can I improve for September? And what I found that during the weekend, right? Labor Day weekend, I was able to take space and not have anything that I had to work on, right? I wasn't preparing an event. I wasn't editing a podcast or a vlog or anything in that regard. I was completely present. I was where my feet were, and I just absorbed, and I had really good conversations with my family. I felt so present and just refilled. So this week when I came back, I was all right, what goals do we have for September? Where are we going to work on them? And I completely started with a new sheet. Instead of first going and evaluating the goals I didn't achieve or did achieve last year, last month. Instead, I looked at the upcoming month as a clean slate. I was like, all right, what is my focus this month? And I was able to pinpoint, okay, like these 3 things were very important to me. I put those on my list. And then I checked back at my August goals and I was like, all right, I want to carry this goal over from last month. Or I looked at it and I thought, you know what, like this goal wasn't as important. And although I failed at it, I'm not taking it as a failure, but I took it as my focus being dialed in. And it was able to eliminate from my mind, because there's so many things that we might think we want to do, right? Like we might want to be on a committee or volunteer or pick up a second job or any of the hobbies that we think to ourselves, oh my gosh, like I think I want to do that one day. More ideas could be like, I want to write a book. I want to run a marathon. I want to sew a quilt. I want to like get into interior design. Like there's so many things that you've probably thought of, like, oh my gosh, if I had the time, I would totally do that. Or one day I'm going to do this. One day I'm going to have the coffee shop. One day I'm going to have the bookstore or whatever, right? A podcast. And if you actually try to do this goal for 30 days and see where you end up, you can tell where your priorities are and where they're not, right? Like you can decipher what is truly important, and that's also going to help like move forward. So for me, one of the goals was at night, I want to put my phone away at like 7:00. And that goal was not successful. There was a couple days that I missed or I had my phone, and I realized that why was I on my phone? Was it the mindless scrolling? No, it wasn't. I was trying to like finish editing a description for my podcast or upload something or post to Instagram for my network meetup. Like it was a variety of things, but most of it was tied to work. So my goal for this month is immediately after my day job, after 5, from 5 to 6:30, I am going to be working on any of the like computer hobbies, podcasting, vlogging, working on my website, like those things that are staring at a computer screen still. But at 6:30, I'm cutting it off. I'm not going to continue with it, even though it's fun, even though it's great. Instead, I'm going to, if I need more time to work on it, and this is just like during the work week, if I need more time to work on it, I'm going to be motivated to wake up earlier before my job starts to finish it. So that's like one of the goals that I have. And then at 6:30, I want to put away my computer, put away my iPad, and put away my cell phone, and instead focus on a hobby. This can be a board game. This can be a puzzle, because you guys know I love puzzling. This can be going outside when possible. Like the focus is to go outside. And then this ties in with one of my other goals. So the goal of the 10,000 steps, I was beating myself up about this, but instead of focusing on the number of 10,000 steps, I want to focus on the action, which is getting outside and going for a walk. So I've scheduled 2 15-minute going for a walk outside. They can be any time during the day, but I'm going to go outside. I'm going for a walk, 15 minutes, clear my head, be with myself. And I think starting that habit will get me into a better swing of things than just thinking, oh my gosh, like I have to hit 10,000, I'm a failure. But if I can just carve out 30 minutes of time, and then a goal that goes hand in hand with this, it's on the same line. I made like a little spreadsheet. And so like it has 31 days, and then I like check mark on the days that I achieved the goal. And so in the same block, because I have 7 goals for September. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that the Golden Hour Drip podcast has a monthly newsletter. You'll find podcast updates, upcoming events and information, and bonus content. If you haven't already, click the link in the show notes and join today. Now, back to the show. On the 7th block, it says I go for 2 15-minute walks and work out 3 times a week. It can be yoga, it can be going to the gym, it can be having an at-home workout, but that's like my activity or movement goal. But I was just really able to like isolate the things that I wanted to do instead of thinking, oh, like I need to do this, or it sounds good if I do this, right? And by having a month's worth of like goals or data to look at, I was able to formulate for my September. And this doesn't mean that like everything has to be so goal oriented. I really, really, really want December to be like a chill, easy month. I want to take this month as a time for like planning and just like being with family and being so present. My sister-in-law's wedding is in December, and we will be going to her wedding in Chicago. So I want that to be like no stress, right? Like weddings sometimes can be like crazy and hectic. I want to be so present. I don't want to be worrying about work. I don't want to be worrying about like my podcast or any of those like little miscellaneous things. Instead, I want to be so present. And I know if I want to do that, I'm going to have to prepare for that, right? Like I need to be putting in my habits and my daily routine now. And also before the first of the year, people get so worked up about, okay, like what are my goals? I have to like start out with a bang. Instead, I'm taking like these little pockets of time now. It's still spring technically. First day of fall is not until the end of September. So I'm taking the time to just be so aware of my goals, try what's working, like see what's not working. And it's also just helping me dial in my time and where I'm spending it. So another one of my goals was to post a vlog every Saturday. And Saturday is like a pretty busy day for me. I teach yoga in the morning. And then like it's the first day of the not work week, right? And I was kind of like getting stressed about needing to like edit a video because I wouldn't have had time during the week, whatever it was. So I made the priority to switch to posting a vlog on I said it was going to be Wednesday, but this week I actually posted it on a Thursday because I wasn't in the swing of things, right? Like we just got off of Labor Day. So I went to post it Wednesday, but I didn't actually get around to posting it Thursday. So my original goal was post every Wednesday at 6 p.m. That might be changed to Thursday at 6 p.m. I haven't decided yet, but it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday. I will make a plan, I promise you. But it's going to be on the weekday, and I plan to record and edit every day until I post it, because I would like record it and be like, oh great, like so glad all the recording is done. And then editing would like pile up, and I'd have multiple days I needed to edit, and then I had my podcast. And as you can tell, like that's a little much, right? Like I'm trying to do too much, and I'm not having the focused energy. I'm not focusing on, hey, like this is what I need to be doing. It's not all this other noise, but it's being present and being exactly where my energy should be. So I changed that from Saturdays to a weekday. That way I can edit during the weekend where I have the time and I have the space, and then having it ready to go on a weekday. So I'm really, really excited about that pivot. And I wouldn't have known that unless I would have tried, right? Like instead of getting so bogged down on like the end result, focus on the journey. Like what is actually going to be so pleasant to get there? What is going to be helpful and add to your life, instead of like, oh gosh, like this is stressing me out, but this is a deadline that I've set for myself. You can reframe it. You can look at it a different way. So that I am really, really excited to like change and see how like a weekday posting will work for me. I'm really excited. Hopefully it works. I'm just wanting to be so consistent with the vlogging. It's really exciting for me. And I find that it's easy to film the content, but I have to sit down and edit the video. I can't have like a podcast. I can't have a like Netflix or anything going. I have to be so focused, right? So I think changing it to working on it a little bit every single day and posting on a weekday will be much, much better for my brain. So I'm excited for that. And just like reframing on how I'm spending my time, because weekends really and truly, like, I want them to be more restorative. Of course, like, I want to work on my computer, and there's things that have to be done during the weekend. But instead of thinking, oh my gosh, like, I have to be editing or I have to be posting, so I'm like waking up early and then trying to edit. Instead, I want to spend my Saturdays and my Sundays working on, again, like a hobby, working on something that isn't tied to my podcast and isn't tied to social media. Like, I want it to be something where I am like fully interacting with it, but it's not tied to a screen. It's not watching movies. It's not my computer. It's not my iPad. I have not worn my Apple Watch for almost 2 weeks now, and that has been so nice, because when I set my phone in the other room or I turn it off for the night, I'm not getting any buzzing. I'm not getting any alerts, and honestly, it just feels so peaceful, and I know that I need the time and the space to think about things and to like not be working on a goal, like to have that creative aspect, because I mean, I could be doing things in the kitchen, I could be going outside and reading a book. Like, I haven't read a book in a whole like month and a half, so it's like, it's really nice. Like, I'm trying to see where I'm actually spending my time, and if like in a couple of years, like when I look back, am I going to be like grateful of where I spent my time? Am I going to be happy with like what I did? Or am I going to be like, oh my gosh, I tried to do this and this and this and like make other people happy, but instead like it wasn't making me happy? So I am excited for September. I think it's going to be a great month, to be honest. I already have 2 of my meetups sold out. So I'm like, okay, like meetups are good. All of the things are planned. October, beautiful Halloween month. Oh, and also I jumped the gun. I started to decorate for Christmas. Oh my gosh, that actually would be psychotic. No. I pulled out all of our fall decor. So I am heavy in the mindset of autumn and like the harvesting part and seeing what I've done all summer and using that. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Sorry about the audio. I just like wrecked my table a little bit, but using September, using the fall time to reflect on what I did during the summer and was it beneficial? Was it good? Did I like it? How can I prepare this winter for the upcoming spring, right? Like, I am very much a futuristic person where I'm always thinking about the next step, and I find that that's great, but I can't always be thinking about the next step. I can't always be like pushing for this next thing, but I also have to be so present where I am. So just like setting the boundary of like, okay, like this time I'm not going to be doing anything. I'm not going to be on my computer. I'm not going to be on my phone. And it's okay if something doesn't get checked off the list, because when it comes to a certain time, I'm logging off. I'm doing all the things. And I've tried it this is the first week that I'm like implementing these goals, and I'm feeling better. Like I'm not feeling stressed. I'm feeling really good. The house is completely decorated in fall. So it's like, okay, like very autumn vibes, very much homemaking era. My sourdough did make it over the Labor Day weekend. I was so spooked that we were going to be gone Friday through possibly Monday. And I was like, oh gosh, like my starter's not going to be fed. I did give it one feeding and popped it in the fridge. And oh my gosh, there's something. Anyways, my mom and stepdad will be down this weekend, and I forgot to like bring them up sourdough. So I'm going to be making a loaf of bread this weekend, and my sourdough completely bounced back. And there's so much more that I want to share and tell you. And I always find like the Friday episodes, they're shorter, right? I love having like this short, like 20 minutes, but sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's so much more to tell you. And I know that like the Monday episode, the long episode, I need stuff to talk to you about, right? Like I need to like save some things for that long episode. And I always go back and forth on, okay, like the 20-minute episodes, the shorty episodes, the quickie episodes, if you will, like, should I just wait for all the information until Monday, or, if I make the Friday episode longer, then I'm not going to have anything for Monday. It's just, honestly, it's been a beautiful week of just like reflecting. And again, here I go, like trying to do too much. I'm trying to like pack it in. I'm trying to give you more information, but instead, like, we should just be present in the moment. So thank you so much for listening to this week's podcast episode. Let's just be present for a moment, grab a sip of water. I feel like we always need the reminder to drink water, take a deep breath, and through your nose, out through your mouth. Oh man, I feel like I'm teaching yoga right now. But let's just take a moment to be present and to be thankful for where we are right now. And I am so thankful for you, friend. And until next time, bye.